That sounds like an ordinary whistle, right? But in Nigeria, you don't whistle like that after dark. Our parents didn't need science to explain it. They just said, if you whistle at night, something might answer you. Some say it calls spirits, others say it calls snakes. But the story of what happened in Isapu village was what really made people stop. It all began with a boy named Ebuka. In 2004, Isapu was one of those villages where everyone knew everyone. The kind of place where a chicken can cross the road and 5 aunties will ask it where it is going. Ebuka was 13, curious, sharp but stubborn. His grandmother warned him often, don't whistle at night. You would call snakes, you would play with spirits. But you know how boys are, especially when their friends are watching. One night after the village festival, he and his friends were walking back, full of puff and boldness. Make I try am, he said laughing. Then he whistled, once, twice, and 3 times. Something then rustled behind them. It seems like breeze, his friends muttered, but then something hissed. Not like a snake, it was both, half whistle, half hiss. It came from behind them, so they began to run. But the next morning, Ebuka woke up with something strange. 2 tiny marks on his ankle, like a bite. His mother thought it was a scorpion. His friends were also not sure what it was, because later that week, another boy tried it, whistled near the mango tree by the stream. They found the slippers but not him. For 2 days, the village searched. Then, on the 3rd morning, he walked out of the forest, barefooted, blank-faced, whispered only one thing. It whistled back. IKENNA had heard the warning many times, not just from anyone, but from his grandmother. A woman who never laughed after sunset and never allowed whistling near her house. She would say it in whispers. If your lips ever part at night to whistle, you are not alone anymore. Spirits love sounds. It tells them where to go. And snakes, they don't come because of the sound, they come because of the spirits that ride it. Of course, IKENNA never believed her. To him, it was one of those old superstitions meant to scare children, like don't look in the mirror at midnight or don't eat in your dream. But curiosity is its own kind of spirit, and one night it found IKENNA. That night the moon was full, and IKENNA had just one goal: prove that old woman wrong. So he walked down the narrow path beside the yam barns, past the mango trees that bent too low and stood in the open. He did it, he whistled, once, twice, and the 3rd time, louder than before. The air stood still, no breeze, no insects, just silence. He waited for something to happen, then smiled. Nothing, he said, but then he heard rustling behind him, and out of the bush came a single black snake. He noticed the snake was not fast, it was only angry, just moving slowly like it had been called. IKENNA froze. The snake didn't attack, it just stared at him. Then it slithered away. But the next day, there were 2 snakes outside its windows. And the next, his little brother screamed. There was one inside a roof that disappeared when the adults came. But that wasn't the worst part. That was the whistle. Each night, IKENNA would hear it again, from outside the hut. Low, deliberate, but slow. It was his whistle, mimicked exactly. And each time he heard it, something moved in the shadows. By the 7th night, he stopped eating, stopped talking. His mother tried to pray it away, but his grandmother, she only said 4 words: I warned you, it hurt. The elders were called, not the ones you greet on Sundays, the real ones, the kind who only come when the forest is no longer sleeping. They said this wasn't new, that long ago, night whistlers were used to summon things, Snakes were messengers, but the real problem was they mimic spirits. A thing that doesn't have a voice, so it borrows yours. Once it mimics you fully, it can enter your shadows. That's when people start vanishing. So they performed the sealing. They burned bitter leaves, rubbed his lips with palm oil and black soap, and buried his whistle, the actual sound, into the ground. That night, the mimic stopped whistling, but the snakes, they never left. Years passed, people moved on. Obudu village became just another dot on the map, but every now and then it comes back. On the internet, in boarding school, in music videos, the sound that calls something and mimics it back. A girl in Ogun tried it on TikTok, just playing. The video froze, but her scream didn't. She deleted her account 2 hours later. In a hotel in Nsukka, 3 boys whistled at 11:47 p.m. Only 2 remembered how they got back to bed. A conductor in Lagos swore a snake followed him from mile 2 to Festac and vanished into the bus seat. They say it is coincidence, but Nigerians know. Our myths are never just stories. The elders say there are 2 sounds in this world, the one you make and the one that answers. If you whistle at night in Nigeria, you might hear both. And if you hear a snake's hiss, but no snakes appears, just hope it didn't learn your sound, because once it does, you don't need to call it again.